What makes America great?
I think it's a blend of everybody. I had the opportunity many times to go to New York, and when they say melting pot, it is definitely the melting pot. Um, you see all cultures, languages. You hear all languages, and people are given the opportunity to come here to make a better life, and that I think is really what makes America stand out.
When were you most proud to be an American?
Honestly, when I was able to see Obama being elected, because there was someone like me, that representation, who was running the country. So definitely when Obama. I got to see that my lifetime, and also my grandmother got to see that her lifetime. So that was awesome.
What, in your opinion, makes the Constitution such a great governing document?
From an educational standpoint, the separation of church and state, you know, um, we have to have a balance. And I think that right there shows the balance of we understand that education is a business, and we have to make sure we focus on that part.
What are your wishes for America in the future and maybe in the next 250 years?
I believe that we'll get back to where we are together more as a country. Um, my grandchildren, as any parent, you want your child to grow up to be a better person than you are. And I believe wholeheartedly I've done it with my son, and he's cultivating that into his children. You know, our jobs as educators, we want to produce productive citizens in the world who understand that everybody's not like them. They can get along, they can understand and accept and have that empathy for others. So that's where I think in 500 years America will be.
What event in your lifetime, positive or negative, meant the most to you as an American?
Honestly, the one thing that, and as a parent, once again, I'll go back to as a parent, what negatively impacted me was Trayvon Martin, because I saw a child that looked like my child. They're, my child was a teenager at the time, a little older, but just really having to have that conversation with him at that level, which, coming from a small town, we really didn't have to, because he was known. But as you continue to get older and people don't know you, it was a little bit, it was tough. It was tough and it was hard. And being a parent and seeing that, it really played an impact on having those hard conversations, and just reflecting and thinking about how to react in situations that as a parent you didn't think you would have a conversation like that with your child.
If you visited outside the country or from sea to shining sea, which parts of America have you enjoyed the most?
Well, we went to Cozumel and really enjoyed that. Just seeing. I'm a architectural engineering major, so the architecture, I love architecture, and I love just buildings, looking at sculptures, anything like that. So just seeing all the beautiful art and buildings really was really neat. And coming back was a little saddening, because we're Tennessee. We don't have beaches, and I love the beach and the ocean and all that. So it was a little disheartening, but the people were very nice. They were very, very nice to us. And that's one thing I can say as experiencing going out of the country, that no matter where I went, people were very, very kind. Um, like I said, I love New York. I know people question why I love, but once again, my eyes were they were open to just the diversity. And I kind of like the fast pace, being from Tennessee, with the accent and everything. You talk slow, and everybody's like, yeah, we can tell you're from the South. But like, even the hustle and bustle of crossing the street, walking the sidewalks, I loved it. I loved it. So I love New York.
You got the shirt, the I Heart New
Ah,
York?
no, I didn't go that far. I'm not that much of a tourist.
You got that. You got the Lady Liberty shirt? Okay.
How about the keychain?
Yeah, you bought the keychain. Okay. I mean, it had to be so.
There you go. There you go.
What parts of history have you directly observed or participated in?
Well, I mean, I think the whole change, even with Kamala, seeing a black woman run for president, that was exciting. Once again, representation of me as a black female. Um, getting to participate in that election and just see how everything plays out was exciting. It was hopeful. I was hopeful. Like I said, unfortunately, she didn't win. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. But that was exciting for me too. And that was a moment I got to share with my granddaughter, just to kind of express a different perspective, especially with my granddaughter being biracial. I told her I have to prepare her because it's going to be a struggle for her. It will. She may not be accepted in both areas, black or white, because of her being biracial. So just finding herself and her balance, and just understanding, no matter what are you capable of, and just once again, be a good person. Be a good person.
That's what we all have in common.
That's
right?
all what we have in common. And I'm telling you, our generation, well, this generation coming up, these kids are kids. And a lot of people are like, well, they're this and that. But no, our kids overall, we have good kids. We have good kids. And it's all about cultivating and guiding and being that voice of reason for them, being that voice of understanding, correcting them when they're wrong, but also showing them that you love them.
Yeah.
I think that is the balance you can find. Gone are the days where, respect is just given. We do have to earn the respect. And I think it's just how you approach a child. And even when you're redirecting them.
How do you feel like that being an American has shaped who you are?
For me, I think I'm able to research all of American history. That includes African American history, along as what, our founding fathers. I think if you have knowledge of everything that's happened in this country, good or bad, I think it's helpful. It gives you that insight. What they say, history repeats itself. If you don't know where I don't know the exact saying, but history repeating itself. Be mindful of that. So knowing the good, knowing the bad, sometimes it's hard to face as a person because you can't fathom the things that have happened, but we have to learn from it. And you have to know the good and the bad of America. We can't just sit here and pretend like everything's perfect because it's not, but nobody's perfect.
Right.
And that's okay. But how you utilize that knowledge and learn from it and guide the next generation makes a big impact.
Being an American has often been described as a shared commitment. What does that shared commitment look like?
That I'm going to fight for all. I'm fighting for all. Black, white, Hispanic, male, female. I'm fighting for all. That is my place, to fight and love all.